Samuel's heart pounded as he stepped into the crowded school gymnasium, the familiar hum of chatter and laughter filling the air. It was parent-teacher night at Maplewood Elementary, a routine event he'd attended every year since Mia started kindergarten. But tonight felt different. Tonight, the air was thick with anticipation, not just because of the usual school updates, but because of a name he hadn't heard in years: Lily. He hadn't seen her since high school, not since the summer before everything changed. Back then, Lily was the girl with the sunniest smile and the kindest eyes, the one who made his heart race and his world feel a little less heavy. But life had pulled them apart. College, careers, and then the unexpected tragedy that left Samuel a single dad, raising Mia alone. Now, as he scanned the room, his eyes caught hers across the gym. Lily stood near the bulletin board, her dark curls pulled back, a soft smile playing on her lips as she chatted with another parent. Time had been kind to her, but it was the same warmth in her eyes that made Samuel's breath hitch. For a moment, the noise around him faded, and all he could see was the girl he once loved. Mia tugged at his hand, breaking his reverie. "Dad, can we go see Mrs. Thompson first? She said she has something to show us." Her voice was bright, innocent, and full of excitement, the kind of excitement Samuel wanted to protect at all costs. "Of course, sweetheart," he replied, kneeling to meet her eyes. "Let's go." As they moved through the gym, Samuel's mind raced. What would he say to Lily? Would she even remember him? More importantly, was there a chance to reconnect, to find something new in the ashes of their past? The gym was a kaleidoscope of colors, handmade posters, student artwork, and the buzz of parents eager to learn about their children's progress. Samuel felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Mia was his world now, and every decision he made was for her. They reached Mrs. Thompson's table, where Mia eagerly showed off her latest project, a colorful diorama of the solar system. Samuel smiled, pride swelling in his chest. "You did a great job, Mia." "Thanks, Dad. Mrs. Thompson said I'm one of the best in class." Mia beamed. Samuel glanced around and saw Lily approaching, her eyes locking with his once again. This time, she smiled directly at him, a flicker of recognition sparking between them. "Samuel?" she said softly, her voice carrying a mix of surprise and something deeper. He nodded, feeling a strange mix of nerves and hope. "Lily, it's been a long time." "It has," she agreed, stepping closer. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Me neither," Samuel admitted, "but I'm glad I did." They talked briefly about Mia's progress, the school, and the challenges of parenting. Lily mentioned her own son, a third grader, and how busy life had become. The conversation flowed easily, as if no time had passed, yet beneath the surface, both were aware of the years and experiences that had shaped them. As the evening wore on, Samuel found himself drawn back to Lily again and again. There was a comfort in her presence, a reminder of a time when life felt simpler and love seemed possible without conditions. Later, as the gym began to empty, Lily hesitated before speaking. "Would you like to grab a coffee sometime? Maybe catch up properly?" Samuel's heart leapt. "I'd like that." Mia tugged at his sleeve, her eyes wide. "Dad, can Lily come to our next movie night?" Samuel laughed softly, the sound warm and genuine. "I think she just might." As they left the school, the cool night air wrapped around them, carrying with it the promise of new beginnings. Samuel looked down at Mia, her hand still in his, and then back toward the school doors where Lily had disappeared inside. For the first time in a long time, he felt something he hadn't dared to hope for: hope itself. Samuel woke the next morning with a strange mix of excitement and nervousness swirling in his chest. The memory of last night's encounter with Lily played on repeat in his mind, each detail sharper than the last.
The way her eyes lit up when she smiled, the softness in her voice, the effortless way they had slipped back into conversation as if no time had passed at all. It was a feeling he hadn't experienced in years, not since before Mia's mother passed away. He glanced over at Mia, still curled up in her bed, her dark curls tousled from sleep. She looked peaceful, innocent, and utterly unaware of the storm of emotions her father was navigating. Samuel smiled softly, brushing a stray lock of hair from her forehead. "We're going to have a good day," he whispered. The morning routine was a familiar dance: breakfast, packing lunches, and the usual rush to get Mia ready for school. But today, Samuel found himself distracted, his mind drifting back to Lily.
He wondered what she was doing, if she was thinking about him too, or if last night was just a fleeting moment, a brief spark in the dark. At work, Samuel's focus wavered. His job as a graphic designer was demanding, but his thoughts kept returning to the conversation with Lily. He remembered how she had talked about her son, the challenges of balancing work and parenting, and the quiet strength she carried beneath her polished exterior. It was a side of her he hadn't seen before, and it made him respect her even more. During his lunch break, Samuel found himself scrolling through his phone, debating whether to send her a message. Finally, he typed a simple, "Good morning. It was really nice seeing you last night." He hesitated, then hit send. Minutes later, his phone buzzed. Lily's reply was quick and warm. "Me too. Let's definitely catch up soon." The rest of the day passed in a blur, but Samuel's spirits lifted. For the first time in a long while, he allowed himself to imagine a future where he wasn't alone, where the past didn't weigh so heavily on his shoulders. That evening, after Mia was tucked into bed, Samuel sat on the couch, his phone in hand. He and Lily had agreed to meet for coffee the next day at a small cafe downtown. He felt a nervous excitement, the kind that comes with stepping into the unknown. The next afternoon, Samuel arrived early, choosing a quiet corner table. The cafe was cozy, filled with the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the soft murmur of conversations. He watched the door, heart pounding, until Lily walked in, her smile lighting up the room. They talked for hours, sharing stories of their lives since high school, the triumphs, the losses, the unexpected turns. Lily spoke about her career in marketing, the challenges of raising a son on her own after a difficult divorce, and the small victories that kept her going. Samuel shared his own journey, the heartbreak of losing Mia's mother, and the fierce love that drove him to be the best father he could be. There was a vulnerability between them, a mutual understanding born from shared pain and resilience. They laughed, sometimes quietly, sometimes with abandon, and for a moment the years melted away. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the cafe windows, Lily reached across the table, her hand brushing against Samuel's. "I'm glad we found each other again," she said softly. "Me too," Samuel replied, his voice steady but full of emotion. They left the cafe together, walking slowly through the streets, the city lights twinkling around them. Mia's laughter echoed in Samuel's mind, a reminder of the family he was building, one step at a time. Over the next few weeks, Samuel and Lily's connection deepened. They navigated the complexities of blending their lives, coordinating schedules, introducing their children, and learning to trust again. There were moments of doubt and fear, but also moments of joy and hope. One Saturday afternoon, Samuel took Mia and Lily's son Lucas to the park. Watching the two children play together, chasing each other with carefree abandon, Samuel felt a surge of gratitude. This was what he had been missing, the simple, messy, beautiful chaos of family. That evening, as Samuel and Lily sat on his small apartment balcony, the city skyline glowing in the distance, Lily turned to him. "I never thought I'd find this again," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Neither did I," Samuel admitted. "But sometimes life surprises you."
They shared a quiet moment, the kind that speaks louder than words. For Samuel, it was a reminder that even after loss, after pain, there is still room for love, for healing, for new beginnings. The weeks that followed felt like a delicate dance, sometimes graceful, sometimes awkward, but always moving forward. Samuel found himself waking up with a renewed sense of purpose, a quiet hope that had been absent for far too long. Lily was no longer just a memory from his past, she was becoming a part of his present, and maybe, just maybe, his future. One evening, after a long day at work, Samuel arrived home to find Mia and Lucas sprawled on the living room floor, their laughter filling the small apartment. The two children had quickly become inseparable, their bond a bright thread weaving through the fabric of Samuel's life. Watching them, Samuel felt a warmth that chased away the cold shadows of loneliness. Lily was in the kitchen, preparing dinner with a focused calm that Samuel admired. She glanced up and smiled when she saw him, a look that said without words, "We're in this together." After dinner, they settled into the living room, the kids curled up with blankets and books. Samuel and Lily sat close, their hands brushing occasionally, a silent conversation of comfort and connection. The past was still there, a quiet presence, but it no longer held them captive. One night, as the children slept, Samuel and Lily found themselves on the balcony, the city lights twinkling below like distant stars. The air was cool, carrying the scent of rain and possibility. "I never thought I'd be here again," Lily said softly, her voice tinged with vulnerability. "After everything, I wasn't sure I could trust love." Samuel reached for her hand, his grip steady and warm. "Neither was I, but maybe that's what makes it worth fighting for." They talked long into the night, sharing fears, dreams, and the quiet hope that had begun to grow between them. It wasn't perfect, there were still scars, still moments of doubt, but it was real, and that was enough. As the months passed, Samuel and Lily's relationship deepened, their lives intertwining in ways that felt both new and familiar. They celebrated birthdays, school events, and quiet Sunday mornings filled with pancakes and laughter. They faced challenges, balancing work, parenting, and the ghosts of their past, but they faced them together. One crisp autumn afternoon, Samuel took Mia and Lucas to the Riverside Park, the same place where he had once found himself lost in grief and uncertainty. The children ran ahead, their laughter echoing through the trees, while Samuel and Lily walked slowly behind, hands entwined. Stopping by the water's edge, Samuel looked out over the river, its surface shimmering in the golden light. He turned to Lily, his eyes reflecting the depth of his feelings. "Lily," he began, his voice steady but full of emotion, "I never imagined I'd find love again, but with you, I found something I thought was lost forever." Lily smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Me too, Samuel. You and Mia have become my family." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Kneeling on one knee, he opened it to reveal a simple silver ring, its band catching the sunlight. "Will you marry me? Not just for us, but for the family we're building together." Lily's breath caught, and she nodded, her smile radiant. "Yes, yes, I will." The children ran back, their faces lighting up at the sight. Mia threw her arms around Samuel's neck, while Lucas hugged Lily tightly. In that moment, surrounded by love and laughter, Samuel felt a peace he hadn't known in years. Their wedding was a small, intimate affair by the river, the place where their story had truly begun. Friends and family gathered, celebrating not just a union, but the resilience of the human heart. As Samuel and Lily exchanged vows, Mia stood beside them, her eyes shining with joy. The scars of the past were still there, but they no longer defined them. Instead, they were reminders of strength, survival, and the courage to love again. That night, as they settled into their new home, a real house with a yard for the children to play in, Samuel looked around at the life they had built. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, filled with love, hope, and the promise of tomorrow. He took Lily's hand, their fingers intertwining naturally. "Thank you for staying," he whispered. Lily smiled, her eyes reflecting the warmth of 1,000 suns. "I'm not going anywhere." Together they faced the future, not as broken souls searching for healing, but as a family united by love, ready to face whatever came next. Outside, the river flowed steady and strong, a reminder that life moves forward, carrying with it the possibility of new beginnings.